let's discuss the reason why the Adivasis are marginalized. And also need to discuss today from this chapter that not only Adivasis, many other religious communities in India also are considered as marginalized. Let us find out the reason why they are, and also need to find out what are the solutions from our constitution for all these different sections of society. And we discussed in the last class that the major reason why the Adivasis are marginalized are mainly because of their costumes or the language or religious practices that they follow, etc. are somewhat different from the other communities existing in our country. So both of them will feel a kind of differences among themselves, and that may sometimes lead to a kind of gap in between them. And we can find out some more reasons from the side of either from the side of British government or from the side of our own government, etc., considering as a reason why these Adivasis are forced to migrate from their area to another area, or why they themselves started to feel that they are not suited to live in such a place, etc. One of the reason is mainly the British rules, that we know that forest rules mainly. When these forests were categorized by the Britishers into protected or reserved or unclassed, etc., the movement of the original owners of that forest, that is tribal group or Adivasis, were restricted by the government. The movement or the freedom that they had to collect different type of forest items from inside, etc., were also lost. And another problem also that they were forced to continue settled cultivation instead of practicing shifting cultivation. But we know that Adivasi communities or tribals had no any such early experiences to have their settled cultivation, and also they were fully depending on the nature or the monsoon rain, etc. So when they started to cultivate in a particular area alone, that led them to feel the problem of shortage of food grains, because without having no any proper manure or irrigation facilities, etc., they couldn't cultivate as much as crop that they needed. So in order to find out new places, they were forced to move from that place to another. And also we can identify another as reason for this one is that the important, that means the area where these Adivasis or the tribal people were located is mainly in the forest area that we know. And these forest areas are really a source of different type of minerals. So in order to start mining activities or to start any kind of industries in that particular area, again these tribals or the Adivasis were forced to displace from that area to anywhere else. So mining or industrial work is another reason why they were displaced. And another one also we can say that in India, hundreds of national parks, biodiversity or biospheres, etc. are located. Most of them are in the area where a particular plant or a tree or any animal or bird, etc. is found. In order to protect them, such areas will be declared by the government as nationally important. So these national parks or biospheres, etc. also considered a place only for the protection of that particular animal or plant. So from such area also, the tribals or Adivasis were forced to move from anywhere to anywhere else. Then we know that dams are very important for a nation's development. Majority of these dams also are constructed in the forest areas, because forest areas are a place where water is available into its large or into maximum. So whenever dams are constructing, lots of acres of land will be submerged under water, and the people, those who are living into that particular area, also will be dislocated from that locality. So one side dams are compulsory for nation's development. At the same another side, we can say that those real people, those who have their freedom and deserved to live in that area, will be relocated from there to any other areas. So that is another reason why the tribals or the Adivasis are removing or displacing from that locality to another area. And in the northeastern states, that is the 7 sisters of India, face one another problem that majority areas of their forest is mainly using for military purpose. as different kinds of people are fighting inside our nation against their existing government or into any other sections of group of people. Almost all that forested areas are considering as a military location. So from those locations also, the people, those who are living in that locality will be dislocated. So many reasons are there for the Adivasi group, mainly to lose their livelihood, their habitat and everything. So whenever they are forcing to find out job in another area, that is strange jobs in different cities or in other places, really they themselves will confine to themselves and will not have a good relation with the remaining society. Mainly because of their own inferiority complex and insecurity that they feel because they lost everything from their locality. So because of their dress code or the language or their own job or their helplessness etc. makes them to feel that they are not suited to live in such a city along with other group of people. So along again they will keep a side of the society and will consider as a marginalized group. And we know already told that lots of steps are taken by the government of India mainly to protect these kind of marginalized or the group of people with the less population. We are going to study one another term called minority group. These Adivasis or tribals are minorities because their population is comparatively lesser than the other remaining population of country. Minority stands for the number or numerical status of a particular community compared to the rest of population. If they are less, they are considering as minority. If they are more, they are considering as majority. So our constitution already protecting all these minority religious sections or cultural groups or society etc. Because we studied one thing that the majority or the major function of constitution is to protect the freedom for every sections of society including lower caste or higher caste etc. and also need to avoid every kind of domination of major section over the minority groups. So constitution already introduced lots of rules and regulations and also number of articles are there to protect this minority group. As we know, the main function of our constitution is to protect the life and property of people in India. So constitution also provided some provisions here in order to safeguard the cultural, religious, language and all other diversities of different group of people here. That's why constitutional provisions are there to protect or to safeguard the lifestyle or the religious or the cultural practices of every sections of our population. Because we already studied that India is a country with a diverse population where all have equal freedom to practice what they already follow. So in order to maintain the unity in diversity and also to assure freedom of life and security for all people, Constitution provides every kind of safeguard through its provisions to every sections of our country. And we studied one thing more that along with the Adivasi group, here we can say that the another religious group in India who also considering as minority is Muslim community. Because their population is in India is around only 14% of our total population is comprised with the Muslim community. And they also are a group of people somewhat marginalized from the remaining population of our country. It is also the almost similar reasons are there for them, that is especially their dress code or the religious practices or the educational or economical condition of these Muslim community also is a little bit different from other sections. So they also feels the same marginalized feeling along with the other minority sections in India. So, in order to find out the real reason behind the marginalization of this Muslim community, in 2005, India government set up a commission headed by Justice Rajendra Sachar. Under his leadership, a group of people started to inquire about the economical, educational, cultural, religious background of Muslims compared to other sections of Indian population. and they find out that educationally or economically, the number of people going or getting a high position in society in India is comparatively lesser than the major religious sections of our country. And they also find out one thing that, they are a little bit better, that is Muslims are a little bit better than the scheduled caste or scheduled tribe or other backward communities. So by this Sachar Commission, popularly known as Sachar Commission, some recommendations were given, especially to give educational or economical support for this Muslim community in order to uplift their status in society. The facilities that the Muslim community or the other backward communities in India enjoy, especially in case of water, electricity, or the houses or other facilities just like economic background or their educational facility, etc., are comparatively lesser than the other major section. So in order to support them, different type of schemes or programs, etc., started to introduce by government, which makes a kind of changes, that is a positive change in the life of low level sections of every communities, including Muslim community. And we can understand one thing, that the major group or the major two important reason for the background or the backwardness of the every kind of group of people in India is mainly connected with the educational or economical condition. Whenever economical condition is a little bit better, they will get a little bit higher education. And just the opposite also, whenever our educational level is increasing, there is a possibility for economical development. But when both of these are coming into its lower stages, such group of people or such section of society will feel really marginalized or not at all suited to live in such a society where the others are enjoying every type of facilities of life, and they themselves feel insecure, helpless, disadvantaged of that particular community. So the constitution is the only important source for every group of people in India to feel a kind of security through the provisions already introduced by Constitution of India. So not only these SC, STs or Adivasis or Muslims, while we are going to identify the details in deep, we can understand that many other reasons are there other than educational or economical reasons. Many more reasons are there for people to feel the same kind of marginalization either in one's form or in the other. So this chapter gives a lot of details about what is marginalization, what are the reasons behind marginalization, what are the reasons why the Adivasi communities are losing their property and how they started to feel marginalized or not suited to live in the same area. And also we discussed about the reason why the minorities also have all the problems of being marginalized, etc. So this chapter gives a good idea about how a society should be, whether up and down or high and lower sections are needed, or what are the steps taken by government and constitution to protect all kind of people in order to ensure equality, justice for all, and to assure that our country India is always a country with a unity in diversity. So we can stop now. Thank you. Have a nice day.